basically, I am delighted to be here with you today, and so wonderful and appropriate that we have allowed these Saturdays to be Reparation Saturdays. And I was speaking before that we as a people must control the narrative as to how people think, say, and feel about us. And this opportunity gives us a great venue to be able to formulate in the minds of our publics as to what we want to be said, learned, and internalized about reparations. Let me just share with you a couple things. Let me share with my story. Let me share my story with you first. I graduated from Ragsdale High School, and I found out that as I graduated, one of my professors, one of my teachers told me that, Elma, you won 10th grade homecoming court, but we didn't give it to you because you were Black, and we had never had a Black girl on homecoming court. She said, I had to make you aware of this before you graduated high school. I said, well, thank you. Secondarily to that, our counselor in high school had a tendency to track the Black students to technical school or trade school, and the white students to four-year institutions. What that says to me that I was too young to realize it was the first introduction to racism that I received as a young person. You see, here's the thing. I asked the question, I posed the hypothesis, is racism so American? When we protest racism, people think we're protesting America. I can't take credit for that. That comes from Michael Eric Dyson's book on entertaining Black. I simply say that in that story, it's time to break down the barriers. It's time to bring to the awareness of white America and of Black America that for over 244 years, High Point and this country has leveled injustice, cruelty, brutality, inhumanity, slavery, and legal segregation. This stuff must be brought to bear. In our history, we've glamorized slavery. We said we went through slavery. Let's talk about what slavery really is. Slavery is murder, rape, sodomy, crimes against nature, and assault against educational, financial, and economic sustainability. Let's just call it what it is. Dr. Martin Luther King speaks to the fact that supremacy causes people to feel like that they know it all, that they understand it all. They cannot open their minds to see that this really happened. And somebody has got to take responsibility for it. Who bears the responsibility? The descendants of the perpetrators, who must give us a formal apology. And that apology is not only in words. That apology is in words, actions, and deeds. Who are the recipients? The recipients are the descendants against whom these atrocities were leveled, must receive restitution. Now, we have a reparation issue that's going on, and I don't want to confuse the issue. We have a reparation issue that's going on with the federal government, which will definitely be some level of monetary restitution. But we here on the local level must work within the boundaries of what we have to make sure that African Americans in High Point receive their just due because of the disparity that's occurred over time. Let me simply say this. I left in 1978. North Carolina was in pretty good shape during that time. I come back home. The schools are more segregated than they were when I left. The educational opportunities for our young people have declined because we have fallen victim to others controlling our narrative. If we don't control our narrative, we will be left out in the cold. See, Black life is tolerated as long as it's at the will of white folks. But we got to control our own narrative. That's why we've got to take this information that we have and begin to disseminate it. See, it's kind of like going through the marketing funnel. You have to go from awareness to advocacy, and there are some things in between that you must do to appeal to the hearts and minds of folks to help them become loyal to your cause and actually execute your cause. So some of the things that we must look at in deciding what this custom designed restitution is about in High Point. We must look at housing. We must look at elimination of food deserts. We must look at education. We must look at equal opportunity in contracting with the city. We must look at access to healthcare. We must look at investment in Black communities, and we must look at equity in treatment as it relates to policing. So therefore, how do we determine this restitution, and how do we bring closure? That is the charge of the commission, to determine what that looks like. Those commission sessions aren't going to be sessions for you talking about this happened. Those commission sessions are going to have to be sessions where you bring data to be able to put together the story that's going to be presented to City Council in the final analysis, so that we can prove the hypothesis that we have set out to achieve.